What's up, YouTube streets? It's Kiki Speaks here for another review of Summer House Martha's Vineyard Season 2, Episode 2. Now, let's just jump right in. Basically, Season 2, Episode 2 starts off them still at the boat party. Swag surfing on a boat party. Everybody looks like they're enjoying themselves. They're having fun. The drinks are flowing. Um, so basically, they end the boat party and everything's all cool. Everybody goes back to the house. Um, to get ready, basically hang out for a little while before the night starts with the decades party. Jordan says that she and Jasmine actually on the way back to the house. Jordan says that she and Jasmine agreed to disagree but work on their friendship. After arriving back to the house, Bria and Summer lay in the hammock together. They go hang out in the hammock in the sun, and they're just hanging out. Bria's excited to finally get to see Simon, her boyfriend from Germany, who she says she hasn't seen in a bit. I believe it's about a month. He was on the last season as well with them. He came at the tail end to visit Bria, and he seemed very nice. He was very generous with everybody. I believe he gave everyone watches, which everyone was excited about. Before then, there was a little issue with how long he was going to be staying in the house. I believe it was 3 weeks that he was coming down. And at first, everyone kind of had a problem with it, with him staying so long. And him being a guest in the house, they didn't want guests to stay that long, but once he came and he was just showering everyone with gifts and paying for dinner and drinks, everyone loved him. Yeah, so we can see why Bria loves him so much. He's a very giving person. um and again, he was a very sweet guy too. There was really no issues. And she said he visited last year and he seems like a nice guy. Summer got to meet him as well. Summer speculates that Jasmine might be pregnant. Jasmine came in the house stating that she wasn't going to be drinking while they were there. She said that she's on a clean eating and drinking kick like Alex. She didn't want to drink. She wanted to eat healthy. But then Summer said that she's been noticing that Jasmine breasts haven't gotten larger. And, she seems like more reserved. She doesn't want to do too much, and she believes that she's pregnant, which we now know if you're actually following, Jasmine just recently gave birth to her and Silas's son. I believe his name is Silas Jr. So I do think she probably was pregnant around this time, but she just didn't want to share that information because it was probably so early on, which is totally fine. Totally get it. Um, Preston talks about his dad with Amir and how he's feeling, the issue with the reason why there was so much of an issue with his father is because his father had a problem that he was gay. His father, once he came out to his father and told his father was upset and said that he did not raise his son to be gay. Turns out he didn't raise his son at all. So he really didn't have any say so over that, or who could say that about him? Um, so that was a issue between Preston and his father. He does feel, or is starting to feel, a bit unfazed about not attending his father's funeral. They weren't that close. His father wasn't really that significant in his life. Sad to say, but true. So he's feeling a bit more settled about his decision on not attending his father's funeral. Him and Amir have that convo, and he's starting to feel good about it. Like he made the right decision on that. Nick, Amir, and Alex talk about Alex's convo with Summer on the boat. Nick, like the undercover creep that he is at heart, ask Alex or suggests Alex rebeat. Now, the meaning behind that is how Nick explained it is that once you initially hook up with somebody and you basically go about your way, can you go back and do it? or go back and do it. That's technically what a rebeat is, according to Nick. So he's suggesting Alex go back and rebeat Summer. And they ask why would he want to do that, especially with all the drama that followed behind the initial hookup. Nick just says, because she's a baddie. She's baddie. She's a baddie. She looks good, basically. He's a creep. He's a creep. Let's just forget about the BS that followed the first time, right? Nick, stop. Stop. Anyway, later that day or night is the decade party. Noelle is throwing the decade party. She says that her reason for wanting to do this because, throughout high school she was very shy, very reserved, dressing up into different costumes and to, different characters was her form of getting out there more, which I could totally get. She loved Spirit Week and, you know, all those costume parties and stuff like that. Totally get it. So this is what she's deciding to do. She wants to do the decade party. Everyone dresses up like someone from a specific decade. So we have Noelle chooses to dress up like, someone from the 70s decade. Bria chooses the 2000s. Jordan is dressed up in flapper from the 1920s. Summer is also dressed up in 1970s. Nick is a tennis guy named Arthur Asher, a black tennis player. I believe he was the first black tennis player to actually win Wimbledon back in the 1960s, I believe, or 1970s. Amir is Nick from the 2020s. And Preston is a character from Juice. If you know, you know, from the 1990s. Shanice, there's a question mark there. I'm not exactly sure what decade Shanice was supposed to be from. All I know is that they were laughing at her, saying that she looked like a lady of the night. So I'm not exactly sure. Um, but so that was it. They, everybody went through their costumes and what decade they were from, and then after that, they decided or they chose who won the costume, or the costume party. So I thought Jordan should have won because I felt like she was dressed in the perfect outfit for the 1920s from head to toe. She had the whole flapper look going on for her, the whole flapper look. But ultimately, they chose Preston. Was he did look great, for the 1990s, Juice character. He looked great, but I actually thought, they should have chose Jordan. But that's just my personal opinion. Nick got somewhat upset about it because first of all, no one was aware who he was supposed to be. Hardly, they didn't know who Arthur Ashe was. Honestly, I didn't know either until they put it on the TV. But yeah, he was upset because he felt like he should have won because he had, it was an actual person who, a black person who was the first of something. So he believed that he should have won, but I honestly think they should have gave it to Jordan, but Preston was my second choice. Um, let's see. Afterwards, everyone decides that they want to get in the hot tub. So everyone goes back to the room, puts on their swimsuits, and, come back down to I guess, the little patio area to hang out and start asking questions and, drinking and taking some shots. Um, While everyone's asking questions, Shanice goes back into the house to get everyone shots. While they're there, I believe Amir asks Nick a question, who's the best dressed in the house? I believe it was Nick or Alex. And they passed it to Summer, and Summer just with a tiny bit of hesitation, she said, Shanice is the worst dressed. Actually, yeah, the worst dressed in the house. I'm sorry. She said, it's Shanice. And once Shanice comes out and they basically start laughing because they're in somewhat of agreement with Summer, Shanice gets very, very upset about it and just, tries to go off on everybody saying that, I'm the worst dressed because all of you guys wear fake stuff. Everybody just keep on laughing because they feel as though it's not that deep, but to Shanice, it is that deep. She takes off running, basically saying, pulling them all efforts. She goes in the room, she goes in the bathroom, and she's just breaking down crying. So everybody's like in complete shock, like what's going on? Did she really just get upset about that? So Bria goes and checks on Shanice while Summer is back on a patio, double downing on her answer that Shanice is the worst dressed. Um, so Bria goes and checks on Shanice, and Shanice basically lets Bria know, as well as all of us, that her job, who was based in Phoenix, transferred her to Tampa, Florida, and right after they transferred her to Tampa, fired her. So she has no money, she has no job, and she was the reason why she broke down crying is because she didn't have money to afford clothes. The reason why she attended Martha's Vineyard this season is because it was pre-planned before she even was fired from her job. And another reason why she's so upset is because she told Summer that she was fired from her job and that she didn't have and basically she didn't have any money to afford new clothes. So I could definitely understand why, she broke down the way that she did. She was feeling like she didn't have anything. And for a person who knows her situation to like throw it in her face or to even just mention her name that she is the worst dressed knowing that she's not able to afford these things at this point in time. It's kind of a, shitty thing to do. Messed up thing to do that Summer did, being her friend, right? So anyway, Bria tries to cheer her up and then Noelle comes into the room. Noelle being the new girl, she doesn't really know too much about Shanice's situation at all, but she goes in and checks on Shanice to make sure that she's okay. And Shanice shares with her that Summer was aware of her situation. And Noelle in the confessional is like, I wouldn't, even if Shanice wasn't going through that situation, she's saying that I would never throw my friend's name into something like that. That's her being messy. That's Summer being messy and being shady. And she's starting to pick up on some mean girl vibes when it comes to Summer, which I can agree with. Summer is giving a little bit of a mean girl, which was completely different than what we got last season from Summer. So, on to the next. Um, Shanice, after that incident, Shanice chooses not to address Summer that night. She chooses just to move on and just, you know, go party and have a good time like she always does. So she goes back downstairs on the patio and just shakes ass in front of people's faces and flashes everyone like she always do, right? While there, Nick is just sitting on the couch while Shanice is, dancing beside him. Nick with a whole girlfriend at home is sitting on the couch while Shanice is dancing beside him and flashing everyone, just sitting there, just being a creep again. And in this episode, it's being pointed out in little tidbits of Nick being a creep or being, making the girls a little uneasy with some of the things that he's doing, like touching. It's a lot of handsy movements when it comes to Nick. I'm not sure why. Um, the next day, the group splits up. Amir, Alex, Bria, Shanice, Jasmine, Noel, and Nick go to the gym to work out, while Jordan, Summer, and Preston decide to go brunch. I think I would have been a part of the brunch group. Not gonna lie, I'm not too much of a gym person, but it is what it is. I like a good brunch and a good mimosa, right? They talk about how handsy Nick is being or how he's being disrespectful to his girlfriend Tasia by being so handsy and wanting to, gently touch or, place his hands on someone's hip or someone's side the way that he does. Um, it makes Summer and Jordan a little bit uncomfortable when he does it. And at times they have to like shoo him off in a way. Um, while at the gym, Nick is Alex actually nearly breaks his arm trying to do what Amir does on, the rings that they have. Rhea reminisces about her gymnastic days. Shanice says Summer is jealous of her due to the guys that she's talking to and their status. Um, I don't think Summer is jealous of Shanice. I think Shanice thinks that Summer is jealous of her because these guys that she's talking to or doing whatever with are guys who just want to have a good time and have fun. And Shanice is a very fun girl and she's very free when it comes to, you know, she has a very free personality. And I don't think Summer is that way. Summer seems like she could be a little bit more reserved than Shanice. And Shanice says that she's going to talk to Summer about her bullying. I don't think Summer was trying to bully Shanice either. I think Summer was just being a bit of a mean girl because it's coming off that way. I don't think she personally tried to go after Shanice the way that Shanice is thinking Summer did. Um, And again, to confirm, while they were at brunch, Summer is talking to Preston and Jordan, and she says that she didn't mean to hurt Shanice's feelings, but it is what it is, basically. They say Shanice is trying to escape her reality, which is obviously true. I mean, she has a lot going on. She recently lost her job. She can't afford the things that she was able to afford once before. So maybe she is trying to escape her reality. This is her vacation time. She wants to just hang out with her friends, party and drink, and try to forget about what's going on in the real world for the moment. So I can't necessarily say that I I don't agree with that. Like if that's what she's gonna do, that's what she's gonna do, right? But that doesn't give Summer a pass to be mean, which I truly believe she was, unknowingly doing to Shanice. They move on to talk about Alex in bed. Preston asks the question, was Alex good in bed? And Summer just basically says, well, he's a great kisser. Initially, I thought that it was going to be this, but I got this. And he's a great kisser, avoiding the question. In confessional, Alex or producers ask Alex the same question and he refuses to answer. How Summer was in bed, respectfully. Noelle finds out Summer and Alex slept together. I guess when she missed the part when, Summer said that Alex was once inside of her because she was busy trying to crack open them crab legs and doing all these facial expressions that had me dying laughing. So she missed that part. So when it's, brought to her attention, she's kind of feeling a little uneasy about it because she's wondering why Summer didn't tell her that. Summer told Noelle that Alex and her, they hung out, but she didn't get into specifics. So Noelle took it as, oh, they hung out like something was going to happen, but it never did, which I can understand. Where I'm from, hanging out doesn't necessarily mean that you have sex with somebody. So Summer should have been a little bit more specific, especially when Noelle shared with her that Alex is typically the type of guy that she goes for, and she has some interest in Alex. She should have definitely shared more detail about, we hung out literally, we made out, we kissed, we slept together kind of thing. Especially you want to make sure that you get your point across or all details are met when you're talking to a friend about getting with somebody that you used to be hooking up with at one point. But Summer didn't go that far. So, Noelle is feeling some kind of way about it. Uh, Jordan tells Summer her reaction to Alex about not inviting them to his show was a little, you know, was a little crazy. Like she didn't know Summer was gonna go that deep about it because from what Jordan perceived it to be, it was just a one and done situation. Like it wasn't that serious. But the way that Summer went in on Alex at the table at the seafood broil, it made it seem like there was some feelings involved, which I truly believe there was. No matter what Summer says, that she knew what it was. I think she went in thinking that she was somehow going to make this something that was a long-term thing. Not necessarily like they were going to be friends with benefit for a while. I think they were going to be, she went in thinking they were going to be friends with benefits for one point in time, and then she was going to be able to change his mind on where things should go with them become an actual couple. I don't think she went in just thinking it was a one and done kind of thing. Even though she says it was, I don't think so. Some of the confirms that she was not interested in Alex that way and told Noel she was free to hang out with Alex, but did not give Noel the details, whatever that means. Back at the house, Amir and Preston let Nick know, lets Nick know that he's been handsy, making the girls kind of uncomfortable. And Nick is surprised by this. He's shocked to find out that, Jordan and Summer are feeling some type of way about him touching them. He doesn't mean it in a disrespectful way or anything like that, but I don't think he really stopped to think that they might be uncomfortable with that. Even if you are cool with another, with females and you have a girlfriend, doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, your female friends want to be touched in the manner that Nick has been touching them or constantly in their space, crowding them. It's uncomfortable to feel all of that. So Nick does the right thing. He gets up after speaking with Alex and Amir about it, and he goes to see Jordan and Summer. I mean, they were sleeping at the time. I don't think he should have, bothered them while they were asleep, but he went in there anyway and, he asked, do I make you guys feel uncomfortable? And they immediately said, well, you do get a little handsy, which is true. And I'm glad he went in there and asked that so he can get to the bottom of it and know how to move and like going forward. So that was good that he did that. Well, guys, that's all I have for you today. Catch me in the next review for Summer House Martha's Vineyard. I hope to be seeing you guys more on upcoming projects that I have coming on. So see you soon. Night.